This is VSiN, the sports betting network.
The numbers told the story, they always do.
It's one of those idiots who believe in analytics.
This is a numbers game with Gil Alexander on VSiN.
Good Thursday morning to you. There's a numbers game at VSiN, the sports betting network, VSiN.com, Game Plus, iHeartRadio, YouTube TV, and of course, SiriusXM channel 158. Good morning to you. It's Gil Alexander. That right there is Kelly Bidlin, everybody.
Heyo.
On what is a interesting show that I can't wait to talk to some folks about. Different stuff. Unscripted with the Crack Man, which includes Jeff and Adu today to talk about the NBA betting scandal and the poker scandal as well. But primarily we'll focus on the NBA betting scandal in limited time. And then a whole bunch of Breeders' Cup today as well. A couple segments. Our old buddy Peter Fornatow will join us, and Mike Somich, VSiN's own, to talk Breeders' Cup with us, NFL and more. And then the first part of the Zach and Crack duo, Zach Cohen, talk NBA, tennis, and football with us. Are we sure? Estamos seguros? And some college football with Tim Murray. All of that on the show today. Looking forward to it all. Let me just say that about a half hour ago, I lost a tennis match, a plus 180 dog on Alexandra Ayala, the Filipina sensation, where she was up 4-1 in the final set, and she gacked it.
Was this to Maboko or another match?
To Maboko. Not happy.
Well, the rising stars of the sport, right, Gil? The rising stars of the sport. When they collide, you never know what's going to happen.
Oh, man, that's a tough one. Well, we'll see if we can put together the 2-0 since then. Again, no more tennis matches to go today, though. They're all either started or completed. All of those for VSiN subscribers at VSiN.com/picks. All of our hosts, guests, all picks for subscribers at VSiN.com/picks. Let us begin with World Series game number 5, the Toronto Blue Jays. Oh boy, it's serious now. Blue Jays take a 3-2 lead over the Dodgers in the World Series, the best of 7, with a easy-peasy kind of 6-1 win last night behind, talking about sensations. You were just talking about Maboko and Ayala in tennis on the ladies' side. This is one of the great rookie stories ever because Trey Yesevich only showed up at the big league level on September 15th on a call-up. He started the season in A-ball, then went to high A, double A, triple A, only got the call-up from triple A September 15th, only pitched 14 innings in the regular season. And now with his 5th postseason appearance, his second gem, and this is the one, I mean, this exceeds all previous quote-unquote gems. This was the gem of them all. He's setting records with all this stuff. Yesterday, he became, by the way, in the Blue Jays 6-1 win, he allowed just 1 run over 7 innings, struck out 12. That's the most by a rookie pitcher in the history of the World Series. He also walked none. He became the first pitcher in the World Series to have that many strikeouts with 0 walks, and he did it in only his 8th MLB start. Again, his first postseason road start. It's just incredible. He had 3 starts in the regular season, 5 now in the postseason. He became the first rookie in postseason history, wait, there's more, with multiple outings of 10 strikeouts or more, and just the second pitcher, joining the legendary Sandy Koufax, who was in attendance, to notch at least 10 strikeouts in the first 5 innings of a World Series game. Koufax did it, of course, you remember, Kelly, Game 1 of 1963 World Series.
Oh, of course.
Pretty
good company right there.
I mean, it's just what we thought what we saw in Game 3 from Ohtani was obviously the showstopper. Well, just wait. Trey Yesevich had something to say about it from a pitching standpoint as a rook. And I joked about this earlier in the week. You know, Jason Weingarten said, I think I said this to Spore when he was on, shouldn't a guy who starts Game 1 of the World Series automatically be AL Rookie of the Year just by the fact that they chose him to start for it? He's obviously joking, but you understand his point.
Right.
By the way, this is from Front Office Sports.
Crazy.
Yesevich made $57,204 in Major League Baseball this season as a late call-up for the minors. The Dodgers lineup made over $148 million this year. He set the World Series rookie record, as we said, for strikeouts against them with 12 last night.
$57K. He's made $57K as a major leaguer before heading into this postseason.
It's just amazing to see these guys. I mean, just think about it. April, he's in A-ball.
Right.
And this stage is just nothing. He's like, yeah, watch this. Watch how good I am. And now, historically speaking, when you talk about 2-2 series where a team wins Game 5 and you ask yourself, What's the record for teams that win Game 5 after a series is tied 2-2? The answer, Kelly, is they go on to win the series 46 out of 68 times in the history of baseball. That's a 67% rate. 46 out of 68 times, 67% rate.
It feels light.
Well, here's the thing. When you then do the subset of the advantage gets even more pronounced when you talk about a team that wins Game 5 on the road, on the road, and then returns home for Game 6 and 7 in a best-of-7 series using the current 2-3-2 format. The team that wins Game 5 in that situation, like these Blue Jays, end up winning the series or have won the series in the 27 times before this sample size, 20 times. So that's a 74.1% rate per MLB.com.
Okay. That makes more sense. Yeah, that makes.
And it makes sense, right? You're going back for two home games. Now, the Dodgers do have Yamamoto going in Game 6. So, you know how that's gone.
Every inning, Yamamoto. Come on, my guy.
Kelly's a proponent of Yamamoto going 6 and 7.
That's right.
The Kelly Bidlin managerial school of things. Dodgers, by the way, because Yamamoto is pitching, a minus 144 favorite in Game 6. Look, a lot of people have texted me. This is Joe Pita texted me yesterday. Is this not an obligation? Is this not a Washington Nationals obligation scenario? As I said about the Nationals that year, I was like, it's your obligation to bet the Washington Nationals. It reminds me more of the Florida Marlins in 2003, where every night, now Game 6 is not going to be quite that price, but every night, no matter what the Blue Jays do, their price is just sitting out there at north of plus 170. In the case of the 2003 Marlins, it was like plus 190 every night or plus 180. Mm-hmm. And the series remained plus 180 the whole time. And you just kept banging the Marlins. Boy, oh boy.
Yeah, you can get a plus 130 for Friday right now.
Here's the big thing, though. And as much as we, justifiably are focusing on Yesevich and are justifiably focusing on this, Blue Jays team, which we said from the outset, they don't strike out. That's their superpower. But the real thing that's happening that I think deserves just as big of a headline, if not more. Across games 4 and 5, the Jays pitching held the Dodgers bats to a 161 average, 10 for 62. The World Series had never had a game, by the way, with back-to-back blasts to start, by the way. That's how the game started yesterday, in case you missed it. Solo shots to lead off the game from Schneider and Vlad Guerrero Jr. It's just incredible. The only other team to hit back-to-back homers at the start of a postseason game was the 2002 A's in the ALDS. It's never happened in a World Series. First time all year that the Blue Jays started a game with back-to-back homers. First time all year the Dodgers started a game by allowing back-to-back homers. First time in his entire career that Snell had served up homers, or the first two batters to start a game. So all of that, it never happened before. But that 161 average for the Dodgers of the last two games, this reminds one of World Series past where a star player, if you're old enough to remember the 1979, the We Are Family Pittsburgh Pirates, Kelly, which I know you are, Eddie Murray, the Orioles, greatest hitter, just was mired in this horrible slump that he got out of too late, right? It was only coming out Game 7. He famously oh my God, he finally hits one, and then Dave Parker navigates the horrible Memorial Stadium field in right field to make the catch. But this feels like it's the entire Dodgers lineup at the same time, starting with Mookie, who can't hit period now, and Dave Roberts shuffling around the lineup is that's all you're doing is shuffling. There's no other result. Shohei, since the 9 on base appearance, hasn't really done much. If anything, none of these guys, right? Freeman, none of these guys. Well, Kike did have a solo shot last night.
Yeah, it feels that way to me as well, right? We've see it so often in MLB postseasons. It seems like that one big star that kind of just doesn't show up, right? But this, like you said, it feels like this is the whole lineup. And we just flashed up with that one tweet, how much are you paying the resumes? How much money these guys are making? It's wild.
Joe Davis, the play-by-play guy last night, made this point though, which I think is a great one, which is the Dodgers were not. The Dodgers were, let's put it this way, the Dodgers were susceptible to this during the regular season. This is not a brand new thing. Remember all regular season long, Kelly, the slog that is the 6-month regular season. We all just kept expecting the Padres to overtake the Dodgers at some point.
Yeah.
And the Dodgers, in turn, but not only could the Padres never quite get there, the Dodgers could never take a big lead.
Right.
It was like 2.5, 3 games, like seemingly all season long.
Because it was on average 2.2 games for like 4 months. Yes.
Kelly did the math. That's exactly right. And part of that was because the Dodgers could never get this, could never just go nuts hitting wise, or they would end up in little troughs, if you will, mired in this kind of hitting funk. And throughout the entire postseason, this hadn't happened. Now, all of a sudden, it's happening. But I can credit the Blue Jays, obviously, Yesevich and crew, having a lot to do with it. But it's just an epic performance by a kid.
Oh, it's
doing
wild.
This.
It's wild.
Let's flash up the World Series MVP stuff because we've been tracking this as well. This is now, obviously, with the Blue Jays up 3-2, Vlad becomes your favorite, and he becomes a minus 205 favorite by virtue of the fact that it is 3-2 Blue Jays. Shohei remains the short shot if the Dodgers are to come back and win. And again, to the answer to the question that was posed yesterday, has a player ever won, or what about Shohei winning MVP on a losing team? It's only happened once. Bobby Richardson, 1960. I'm going to sit here and say it's not going to happen again. Yoshinobu Yamamoto is the only other name on there that's interesting to me. 12-1 again. If he pitches some kind of gem tomorrow, let's say it's a complete game, 2-hit shutout again, then he will have authored 2 of those, right? 2 complete game shutouts in the World Series and 3 straight complete game victories. Then maybe he's the only name that one could consider here.
You don't think his chances got worse, though, with it not being a closeout game? And his odds got shorter.
Well, Ohtani and Yamamoto, period, got worse, but I understand what you're saying. If the Dodgers were to win in 7, does that lessen the Yamamoto effect?
Right.
Yeah, probably incrementally so. You're probably right.
I guess I was a little surprised to see his odds get shorter.
It does feel like Vlad versus Shohei today. Yeah. We'll come back. We'll talk about Thursday Night Football, Breeders' Cup, NBA betting scandal, crack. It's all on today's Numbers Game right here at VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
If you're serious about football betting, VSiN's got your weekend game plan. Fridays at 7 p.m., it's the Circa Friday Football Invitational. Saturday morning, VSiN's College Football Tailgate Show at 9 a.m., breaking down matchups, props, and big-time bets. Later that night, join the Football Contest Show as the sharpest betting minds give you their picks for Sunday's game. And Sunday at 9 a.m., lock in with Mitch and Pauly on VSiN's Pro Football Tailgate Show. Your final stop before kickoff. Check out the full lineup at VSiN.com and join us on the Sports Betting Network.
So, Pauly, have you had a chance to read the VSiN Daily yet?
Yeah, came in at 3 a.m. What's Bill doing up that late?
Well, rumor has it starts off with a 12-hour meditation session.
Then he just pours himself over film and live TV, really focusing and taking it all in. Bill's in with the biggest insiders, talking trade secrets, strategies, the whole 9, absorbing the info.
And then and only then can the writing process begin.
In Las Vegas, Bill's Late Night becomes your early morning. Wake up to the very latest betting insights in your inbox with the VSiN Daily. Sign up for free at vsin.com/newsletter.
Coming up on the next edition of Follow the Money Thursday Night Football, we break it all down with picks and props, Dolphins and Ravens, 15 games in the NHL and NBA. We recap Game 5 and preview Game 6 of the World Series. Charged to talk fantasy and props, and the Meat Man is back. Follow the Money 4 to 7 Eastern on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network, now Sirius XM Channel 158. Check out the website for all the betting tools and analysis, or get the VSiN Watch app.
VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
Back on the numbers game live from Circa Resort Casino, downtown Las Vegas. Gil Alexander. That right there is my little buddy, Kelly Bidlin, everybody. What's the weight total? What's the number?
We there, son.
You did it? Dude, how do we not have, like, streamers and
confetti and everything?
You did it?
We're there.
216, ladies and gentlemen. Kelly Bidlin has lost 100 LBs.
216.8, but you know what? I don't know where we started at, Kel. I was telling Rob Moran before. I wrote down 316 when this whole thing started. So, I don't know where it was. Might have been 316.9. Maybe I sailed past 100.
Oh, maybe. But maybe it was 316.2 and you're cheating.
Probably. But
yeah.
I texted you and Montesano yesterday. If you could not hear the tone in my text message, I was very, very deflated, I guess would be the word, because it was yesterday. First of all, I went over 24 hours without eating a single item of food. It was major fast, and then it was more cardio than I've ever done maybe in my life yesterday.
So
then lifted, then went to the sauna, and what I told you my weight was going to be, I was like minus 3,000. I'm going to show up on Thursday, and it's going to be just 1 pound off, and it sure was. Talked to my buddy who used to be a personal trainer. He's like, hey, don't get too mad. He's like, just eat light tonight, go to sleep, get on the scale tomorrow, see what it is. And
absolutely.
I was like, what does this guy know what he's talking about? It's all water weight I'm going to put back on. And I woke up this morning and we're there.
Congratulations,
Thank you, man. Thank you.
Really,
and thank you to Gil Alexander and many others for the support along the way. But seriously, dude,
you deserve it. Good for you. From 316 to 216. We get tweets at Beating the Book. And there will be one here about your weight loss as well, I think, coming up. Oh, Jeff Nadeau tweeted yesterday. Says thank you to us for the very kind words. He will be on again, a numbers game later, talk NBA betting scandal. Those words are well-deserved. We look forward to that conversation.
Yeah.
Mariners Geek, a lot of praise for Stormy Bonatoni on the Megapod.
She's a star.
Stormy, Mariners Geek says, 1 time a year is not enough. Gil needs to invite you more often. The laughing was continual. Scott Sanford, I have been a listener since the beginning of the Megapod, evolving from Marco and Ace. I think you really need to find a way to make Stormy a weekly regular. She was great. The chemistry was great. One of the best shows of the past year or two. South Philly bloke. Poor Stormy having to deal with Todd. Seriously, she's a lot like Pritch. Great attitude, just laughs at Todd and brings excellent vibes to the Megapod. Gil's guy, Stormy killed it. Great job. Bueller27, I love your stuff with crack, but also the Megapod. I watched action, and I was worried about Todd's future. But he's so funny and awesome. I just wish a peon like me could be on his WhatsApp to get his live bet winners. Tenalach. I pronounce it that way because I like it that way. From Australia. Says, I'm loving the teases during the week for crack on Fridays. I guess it means Thursdays. Always full of great info and unique views with a funny and enjoyable twist. You're like two mates having a yarn about sports over a beer. Cheers to you both. Can't wait to talk to Crack later. And Enright, Stephen Enright, talking to Nadeau, he says, dude, I'm psyched about you being on a numbers game. This is my favorite show with my favorite producer. Kelly Gill is the best, and Crack's such a good guy. How about that? People anxious to hear from Nadeau. Thank you to everybody for all those words. This is from Aaron Bender, who says, having got bounced from Circa when the Bengals crapped the bed, he used a different word, we are continuing to pick to see how far we would have gotten. Are you and Kelly doing this? Yeah, and again, I've said it the other day. At this point, even if I had maxed entries, the most I would have possibly had left is 1. And even that, I'm not sure if I would have anymore. Which is why my theory always is the difference between having, X amount of entries versus 2X sometimes isn't as cracked up as it's supposed to be. Although, the other way to look at it is, well, I might have had 1 left at this point.
Yeah, no, I think I've come to the point where I agree with you on that. I guess it could be a very different answer if you played the contest more wildly different. But
that's right.
I'm with you.
If you played it differently, it's a different story. But I don't know that I would have.
I don't know that I would or I would want to. But I also responded to that tweet. I'm like, yeah, of course we do. We're sick in the head. Of course I'm going to track for several weeks of what I would be looking like in Survivor.
Well, also you do this trick with your brain where the double elimination or the triple elimination somehow makes you feel better. That you're happy.
Yes,
I wouldn't have won anyway.
Oh, I'm very much in the mindset this week because I had, not that anything's a lock, right? But the next 2 weeks, I felt like I was very set up for So I would be a very happy man, and my brain would be at peace if the Rams and Packers could just lose outright this week, and then, then fine. Then I would have only lasted one more week, nothing to really get upset about.
Jaco Bella said, Wapisi Capital, if the Blue Jays hold on to win this, is this narrative going to be Toronto won the World Series or L.A. lost it? Toronto won it for me.
Yeah.
Toronto won it. They deserve all the credit if this happens, for sure. Foos. I know there was a World Series game last night, but how is Kelly losing 100 pounds? Not the top story. Amazing feat. Absolutely is.
Appreciate you.
Rich PSM. Can we calm down on Yesevich comparing him to Bob Gibson? Who did that? The whole Dodgers hit one hard ball all night playing like minor leaguers. This wasn't discussed enough. He still pitched well, but even Kobe went 6 for 24 in Game 7 in 2010, and Meta World Peace saved him. Yeah, but I mean, the Blue Jays had something to do with the Dodgers not hitting well. Hard contact. Not like they just randomly didn't have hard contact. John Massey, wonder how the switches by the Jays in Game 3 might have actually helped to win Games 4 and 5. IKF, Isaiah Kiner-Falefa, pinch runs for Bo in the 7th, Straw for Barger in the 8th, even Heineman for Kirk in the 12th, compared to Will Smith catching 36 innings in 3 days. Well, the buttons that Schneider has pressed have all, maybe not all, but mostly worked out for sure. Pat Monafort, congratulations, Kelly, well done. And Alan Harris says, if I'm not mistaken, today's guest, Jeff Nadeau, is also part of the 100 Pounds Lost Club. Congrats to both Kelly and Jeff.
Oh, I did not know that.
I didn't know that
go.
either. You tell us, I had to pause for a second. I was like, what did you say here?
I thought there was... I thought Pat, for the first time in the history of Pat tweeting, Gil had to pump the brakes and not say something he was about to say.
I was just trying to edit the Allen one while I was going. I was like, wait, what is he saying? Oh, 100 pounds? So he lost 102, according to Alan Harris. Good for both of y'all. Congratulations for sure, for real. All right, Thursday Night Football tonight. Baltimore Ravens at the Miami Dolphins. Ravens 7.5-point favorites, as we said through the prism of Survivor. One of the 6 biggest favorites, one of the 5 biggest favorites on the board this week. I mean, that's how many huge favorites there are. Ravens getting Lamar back tonight. Dolphins and Ravens both coming off much-needed wins. That's obviously, a clear statement that both needed to win ball games. In the Ravens case, they're actually gunning for a playoff spot because their division is still in play, even at 2-5. So that was a big win last week for the Ravens. Dolphins get off the schneid by crushing the Falcons. Most people, just the anecdotal, okay, who have we talked to about this game all week? What's the general consensus from everybody is Dolphins will lose, but the Dolphins will cover. That's kind of what I
was actually interested to see where you were going there, because I don't know. I don't really know if I feel like I've heard many hard takes on this game this week. I'm guessing there's a lot of people like me where I'm interested in Ravens in a teaser. I think there are some good teaser options this week, but this is. I think we're making a lot of assumptions, a little bit of just everybody's back and this team's going to look great. And there were a lot of things that did not look good even before people got hurt in Baltimore. So I'm a little scared of it. We'll see. I have not made a bet yet. That's where if I do anything tonight, that's where I'll go, though.
It's no bet for me yet, but here's some stats for food for thought. Dolphins D. The Dolphins D has allowed 5 yards per carry this year and over 140 rushing yards per game. Baltimore's defense has given up 128.9 rushing yards per game, 4.5 yards per carry allowed. So Dolphins D, 5 yards per carry. Ravens D, 4.5 yards per carry. That's good for someone like Achane, right? Mm-hmm. Averaging an impressive 5.0 yards per carry. Over the last 3 weeks, Devon Achane has racked up 128, 82, and 67 rushing yards while averaging 5.9 yards per carry. The Ravens, through the prism of EPA per rush, 30th in the NFL in EPA per rush defense. That's third to last. No team in the NFL has allowed more rushing touchdowns to quarterbacks this season than the Dolphins. Sets up well for Lamar Jackson. Who are you laughing at?
Yeah, but Baltimore has a quarterback that can run the last time I checked. Yeah.
Who has carried the ball 21 times for 166 yards and a score in his 4 games. Jackson should be able to take advantage of the Miami D. The Miami D has allowed 10 rushing scores in 2025. Tied for the second most in the NFL to opposing quarterbacks, while also giving up 100. Oh, that's overall 10 rushing scores. Tied for the second most in the NFL, while also giving up 180 rushing yards on just 38 attempts to quarterbacks. So, yeah, I mean, now where does that point to? Does that point to the fact that there's going to be a lot of exploiting of run defenses, and therefore the clock will move and the under is in play at 51? perhaps that's one way you read it. I will say Will on the Megapod is going over, but he prefers the over on the Baltimore team total, if I recall.
I like that.
I like that one.
I think there's a few ways this game could play out. I could see going, Gil, and then there's a couple I don't really see at all. If you told me Ravens go there and blow out the Miami Dolphins tonight, okay, Ravens back on track, Dolphins suck, this all checks out. Derrick Henry racks up 150 yards because he's running all over him. I don't see a Dolphins blowing out the Ravens or a very low-scoring game. If you want to tell me these two teams are trading punches the whole night, I could see that. That Miami offense looked better last week. This Ravens defense has been bad. That could happen.
The defensive rushing stats thing is interesting, though.
It is.
Because there is a path for a running clock and an under, but I'm with you. Like, just from picturing it, I don't know if that manifests.
Hope we get a good game, though.
Just as long as everyone stays healthy, Kelly. Kelly just wants a fair game where no one gets hurt.
And everybody have fun.
Everybody have fun out there. Breeders' Cup on the other side with Peter Ford of Town next.
Got a good thing coming. Just wait and see. It's a good.
The NBA betting season is tipping off, and VSiN's got you covered with our brand new NBA betting guide. We've packed it with key insights and betting trends, previews of all 30 teams, and of course, our experts' season-long best bets. It's the playbook you want in your hands before the first tip. The guide is exclusive for VSiN Pro members, so don't miss out. Sign up today at VSiN.com/subscribe and join us on the Sports Betting Network.
This is VSiN, the sports betting network.
A numbers game on VSiN, the sports betting network.
Breeders' Cup weekend is here. 14 championship races, and you don't want to go in guessing. We got full expert pick sheet for just $9.99. That's every race, both days, straight from 3 top handicappers, including Mike Somich, who did the Derby Superfecta this year, as you may recall. He'll be on the show a little later on. And if you're a VSiN Pro subscriber, you get the picks for free. We're laying out top selections and confidence scores, perfect for anyone trying to add a data point into their handicapping or for beginners looking to gain an edge. Instant download, zero fluff, huge value. Pre-order now at VSiN.com/breeders. That's VSIN.com/breeders. We get tweets at Beating the Book. Jeff Nadeau confirming that he did lose 100 pounds. He said, hell yeah, thank you, Alan. There you go, both of y'all. Here, you thought you could be the only one on the show today who lost 100 pounds. Oh, Kelly, all proud of himself. Now he's just one of many.
Yeah, it's one of many.
Chris Heath. Yeah, Jeff lost a lot of weight. Haven't heard Jeff in years. It's no coincidence. VSiN once again brings in a capper I followed for so long. Foos at TKE 340. What would have been Kelly's picks for the next 2 weeks? He's curious in Survivor. He said he was set up if the Packers and Rams lost, he would feel better. What would have been the next 2 if he was alive?
Well, it was definitely down. It was going to be Rams or Packers this week. Hold on, let me pull up my notes. Definitely Rams or Packers this week, and then week 10, Denver with the Raiders coming to town.
Okay. Spence CC. I'm getting prepared for the, quote, oh, we always knew the Jays were live, and of course they beat the Dodgers crew because you know they're coming. Great World Series, one of the best in my lifetime. And as I said to Spence, I go, only those who bet the Jays can truly claim that.
Mm-hmm.
Right? If me before the series saying, oh, they have the profile of these other teams that could be live in a World Series, but I didn't bet it.
I don't know what you're talking about, Gil. I've been saying it ever since Yesavage was catching touchdowns from Joe Burrow last year in Cincinnati.
That's right.
Oh, wait, not the same guy? Not the same guy.
Not the same guy.
Right,
not quite the same guy. And Yesavage somehow I can pronounce, but Iosavas I always mess up.
It's one of my favorite parts of guessing lines.
And every Sunday I'm like, I'm going to get this right tomorrow. Primetime, Cowboys_Cubs 1. Yo, hey, man. I'm curious to know what Jeff Nadeau thinks of Pablo Torre's reporting on the various gambling scandals. He's been all over this for months and has been very thorough himself. His podcasts have become addicting, even more than yours. #commies suck, #44-22, which was the Cowboys' score over Washington last time they played.
That was from Primetime? Primetime. I was telling Gil basically the same thing before the show. I was listening to more Pablo Torre this morning, and oh my gosh, has Pablo Torre commanded a lot of my attention in the past year. It's incredible.
Why don't we have him back on, Pablo? We had him on before.
I don't know, he might be probably too busy, taking the next person down.
Sorry, why haven't we had Oz the Mentalist back on the show? Because he's too big for us now.
Oz we have no shot with anymore. It's actually kind of funny how I get emails from his PR agency now of just hey, look out for Oz on this upcoming whatever. I'm like, all right, cool, thanks.
For those who missed it, Oz the Mentalist was once on this show and blew my mind. Martel J, congrats, Kelly. Such an awesome accomplishment. You deserve the props for your hard work. Now go enjoy chicken wings, secret sushi, and a family weekend in Vegas. Great job, bro.
Thank you. I will, very much.
Touchdown, Jesus. Stormy Vibe was great and brought Todd out of his shell. You may have found the perfect road trip. Gil driving, Will Hill shotgun, and Stormy and Todd in the back seat punching each other, talking constantly and asking, are we there yet? Oh, man. Stormy is not signing up for that. Jack Olaquire, Gil, Jimmy, and I want to send Kelly our sincere congratulations on his weight loss. Losing 1/3 of your body weight takes a lot of willpower and desire. I don't remember when his weight loss plan started. Very inspiring.
22 months. 22 months. And yes, I've been on the shots, just to make that very clear, because I don't know if people hate that or people want to confirm that. But yes, been on the shots. That started 22 months ago.
He was on the PEDs. Ladies and gentlemen, let's talk some Breeders' Cup. He is an old friend. He is the host of the In the Money Players podcast, U.S. Analyst for Sky Sports Racing as well, and has one of the great Twitter handles of all time, Looms Boldly, which is one of the famous calls of a track announcer as a horse rounded the stretch. Peter Fornatal joins us now, courtesy of the Progressive Guest Line. How you doing, Peter?
Oh, I'm doing great, brother. Been so good to be back on the air with you. Been really enjoying all the content you guys have been producing. Talking about the Guessing Line show. Always love the Megapods as well. And it's just a great pleasure to be here. I'm live from the track here in sunny San Diego, and we are really getting pumped for a big weekend of racing.
Oh, man, I wish I was down there, too, with you.
Yeah.
Don't rub it in. Let me just ask you this before we get your picks, because we're short on time, and I know there's 14 different races. I know you may not have a pick at every one of them, but we'll get to these momentarily. I just want to ask you broadly about the Breeders' Cup Classic. Sovereignty has been scratched. The legacy of Sovereignty is interesting to me because I am not a horse guy. You are. Sovereignty famously won the Derby, won the Belmont. By choice, they sat Sovereignty out of the Preakness. Sovereignty missing this because of a fever. I get it for the safety and the health of horses. I'm never going to be anti that. But does this not take away from the legacy now ultimately of a horse like that? We can't consider Sovereignty. That choice to take the horse out of the Preakness. Again, I'm not a horse person. People are like, Gil, you don't understand. I get it. I don't get it as much as you guys do. But isn't some of the luster now taken off this horse from a legacy standpoint?
I think so. And it's going to be historically accurate, I think, to say this could be the greatest what-if horse of all time. I mean, the NFL analog that pops to mind, and it's different, but somebody like Andrew Luck, and you think about how great we all thought he was going to be, and then, in that case, it was a straight-up derailed by injuries kind of a thing. But in this one, it's worse in a way, I guess, because it's at least the Preakness decision was self-inflicted, and he could have run.
Yes.
Belmont said he could win. They decided not to run. I hope what happens, Gil, is they run him at 4, and he gets a bit of a do-over. You don't get to run in the Triple Crown races again. But if he can go overseas and win valuable prizes, maybe we see him in next year's Breeders' Cup at Keeneland, and then he can cement that. But if we never see him on the racetrack again, greatest what-if horse of all time.
Yeah. What we do have in the Classic is the defending Classic champ, Sierra Leone. We also have Journalism. Journalism won the Preakness, finished second to Sovereignty in both the Derby and the Belmont. We also have Baeza in there, finished third in both the Derby and the Belmont. How do you handicap the Classic, Peter?
It's an unbelievably great race, even without Sovereignty in there. To have the other two from the Derby, the 1, 2, 3 from last year's Classic, the one I'm interested comes to us by way of the Far East. I think Forever Young for Japan is a fascinating proposition in there. He'll be a little bit of a price. I think he'll be on the order of 9-2 or 6-1 in that spot. And I just think the 2 times we've seen him in the States were very good, but he's even better than that. You go back to his race in the Saudi Cup this winter. I think that is the best race that any of these have run. I think he's a really interesting way to go in this year's Breeders' Cup. Forever Young for Japan for me.
Forever Young, Kelly. Mark it down. Forever Young.
Mark it, Donnie.
Who's the group that sang that song, Forever Young? What was the artist?
Oh, I have no idea.
Oh, we got to think of that. Okay, beyond...
Let's go back to Bob Dylan. We'll go back to Bob Dylan for free. I know the song you mean, but Bob Dylan is the answer.
All right, beyond the Classic, we have limited time, so I'll let you just have free reign here, either Saturday's races or preceding that on Friday. What do you have as your favorites?
One that I really like is in the Breeders' Cup Turf. That's the race that goes before the Classic. So if you've got your, I know you're the sponsors here, if you have your first bet account ready to go, you can play a double potentially from the Turf with Rebels Romance. I really like him. There's going to be a big favorite in there who's actually a 3-year-old filly going against the older males, and she is very legit. Minnie Hawk is her name, but Rebels Romance, really the one I want in there. I'm with one of the favorites that I will give a shout to in the Breeders' Cup Sprint a couple of races earlier is Ben Tornado. I'm very interested in him, and we like horses at bigger prices generally, so I'll just cherry pick a couple of those. Breeders' Cup Mile, there's a horse called Solon, the 3-runner in there, an invader from Irish bred, but an invader from France. He should be a very nice price in that spot. And then I'll give you one in the very last race because it's always nice. The Get Out Stakes. There's a lot of horse players. If they don't hit the last race, they don't hit. The horse for me in there is number 6, Diamond Rain. Just yesterday, Gil, I happened to run into our mutual buddy, Roxy Roxborough, here in the stands at Del Mar. And it was a bit of a Gil, Alexander love fest. It wasn't quite Scott Hansen on Drake May kind of love, but we were heading in that direction, boys.
It's very nice. It's very kind of both of you. Of course, Roxy is there. Of course, he's there. Wait, just to clarify, what was the pick in the last race?
Oh, Diamond Rain is the horse. That's the 6th runner for Charlie Appleby to get things off to a winning end, hopefully, on Breeders' Cup weekend. Those are the main picks for me. Folks that want much more, we've got a whole In the Money Plus, we call it, package folks can buy if you're interested in that. inthemoneypodcast.com/plus. But we've also got loads of free content over there on the In the Money Media YouTube channel. Check that out. You get all the best stuff there. But if you want even more stats, information, analysis, In the Money Plus is the place to go.
Peter, you're a pro. That was fantastic. Peter Fornatel, everybody on Twitter at LoomsBoldly. Fantastic. Peter, enjoy the races and may you win lots of money, sir. Appreciate it.
Thanks, boys. Great being on with you. Next time, I just want to talk to Kelly, though.
Okay. You got it. That's allowed.
Thanks, Peter.
Peter Fornatel, everybody. We'll have Mike Samich on later to give his thoughts on the Breeders' Cup. Then tomorrow, Felica. Everybody's going to chime in on this. Great talking to Peter. We'll come back. College football. Tim Murray. It's a numbers game right here at VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
VSiN's player prop projection tool is now available for the NBA. Get projections for points, assists, rebounds, and more powered by Opta AI. On VSiN.com/NBA props, we line up our projections against the latest DraftKings odds so you can quickly spot mismatches and find value before the market adjusts. The NBA player prop projections tool is free for a limited time. Check it out now at VSiN.com/NBA props and join us on the Sports Betting Network.
Join the guru, John Hansen, at the intersection of prop betting and fantasy sports on Prop Points, only on VSiN.
Lesson number 1, Patty's back. I still believe that Caleb Williams is not any good. And, other than Roma Dunze, I don't trust anyone that can't run the ball.
John and his guests will help you find the connection between the two and give you his expert advice on how to capitalize when a number is too good to pass up. Prop Points, weekdays at 1 p.m. Eastern on VSiN.
VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
Back on the numbers game, live from Circa Resort Casino, downtown Las Vegas. It's Gil Alexander, Kelly Bidlin. This is all about the college basketball betting guide. In case you are unfamiliar with it, it is out. It is ready to go, and it is chock full of stuff. Our pro guide includes Matt Humans' top 50 rankings, all 31 conferences previewed, Wooden Award candidates, futures and season-long prop bets, plus betting nuggets on every major conference team from Greg Hoops Peterson, every one of them. The only way to get the guide is to become a VSiN Pro subscriber. Sign up now for just $120. Get VSiN Pro access to everything we do until May 1st. All college basketball season long, March Madness, beyond, for less than $20 a month. Sign up today at VSiN.com/subscribe. That's VSIN.com/subscribe. Just the congratulations for Kelly Bidlin just keeps coming in. Mac MG says at Braves Country Radio says, I found Kelly's 100 pounds. Can I return them?
That's what I was looking for before this all started.
Mike Rouse tells us Forever Young was Rod Stewart. Great song, better music video, he says.
Rod Stewart 4 years later, after Alphaville.
Sure, Alphaville. Xavier
Which
80.
apparently was mainly just a hit in Europe.
Yeah, I think Rod Stewart was.
I think old Rod, being quite sharp, was like, let me just redo this over here in America.
You think if Forever Young wins the Breeders' Cup Classic that they'll play that over the loudspeaker?
They should.
They should. Xavier 82. Yay! Congratulations to Kelly making his weight loss goal. Extremely happy for you, buddy.
Thanks, Jake. Appreciate it, man.
And Jason McKinney, congrats to your weight loss. I couldn't believe the difference when I looked at the pic from April. He said hi to us after the show. He said, best quote from the meet with you guys. Me, can I get a pic? Gil, Padres, most wins in May. Me, no, one with my camera. Oh, he says Rod Stewart Forever Young as well.
Hopefully you didn't follow the Padres or any other monthly bets.
Hopefully we just took the picture. And Corbin, congrats, Kelly. Huge accomplishment of dropping 100 pounds. No easy task at all. Right in time for your favorite pastime this weekend. Daylight savings. Going to start getting dark where I live around 5:30-ish. Here comes the seasonal depression. All right.
Oh, that's big, though. I guess for those with kids, right? Like, at least you get Halloween before the clocks roll back.
Yeah. Yep. Daylight savings. Don't forget to fall back Saturday night. Tim Murray joins us now. Speaking of Saturdays, talk some college football with us, courtesy of the Progressive Guest Line at one Tim Murray on the old Twitter machine, the host of not only VSiN Primetime, the host of the College Football Tailgate Show, the host of the College Football Sports Betting Podcast, or the College Football Betting Podcast, I should say. He joins us now in his busy schedule. How you doing, Tim?
What's up, gentlemen? Yeah, I always liked daylight savings in college because, where I went to college, last call was 2, so you got like 2 last calls. So you got to stay out an extra hour later. Now it's the worst thing in the history of the world.
Tim did just note one of the very few times in your life where you actually appreciate it. You're right. Last call, we get 1 more hour.
I know we live in Vegas and people are like, what's last call? I get that. But when I went to college in Pennsylvania, 2 a.m. was last call. So, yes, this was always a enjoyable last call evening.
Yeah. We'll get to your picks, the ones that you love best here, Tim. I do want to ask you about Vanderbilt, Texas, sure, which to me is, again, probably the most interesting game of the weekend. Arch Manning has practiced now. He does remain in concussion protocol for this game, in which Texas is a tick of a favorite, about a 2.5-point favorite, after Texas miraculously wins last week to sort of avoid massive incoming. Where do you stand on this game?
I agree with you. I think this is a wildly fascinating game, and it's not as simple as saying, hey, just do the math and you'll get to your answer. And what I mean by that is, Texas was around a 3-point favorite at close on a neutral against Oklahoma, and now they're a 2.5-point favorite at home against Vanderbilt. And I know Vanderbilt's rising up the power ratings, but are they on a neutral better than Oklahoma? So it's fair to ask that question, but also you look at what Vanderbilt's done this year. It's been remarkable. They are a top 10 team in the country. They only have 1 loss on the year. That's coming on the road at Alabama. Back-to-back wins over LSU and Missouri. I look back at last weekend, guys, and I'm not taking things away from Vanderbilt, but this is a team that got outgained by over 100 yards against Missouri. This is a quarterback who, as bettors, we love Diego Pavia. He has been a cash cow going back to his days at New Mexico State, especially in the underdog role. But you look at the numbers, and he is a strong runner, but he hasn't thrown for over 200 yards in a SEC game. Now, that's not his game. I'm not saying that, he is they're not running their offense or whatever you want to will with that. But, to me, guys, I look at this game and I think Texas is just a scotch on sale. And the uncertainty regarding Arch Manning is obviously out there. Matthew Caldwell is the backup. He's been a journeyman. He went to Jacksonville State, Gardner-Webb. He was at Troy last year. So even though you can insert your jokes about Arch Manning, it would be a tick down if Caldwell is the starter as opposed to Arch. But I think Arch is going to play. I know with concussions, it's kind of wild and unpredictable if he's going to be able to get out of the protocol. But as you said, Sark mentioned he did practice earlier this week. Also, this is something to keep an eye on. One of the best defensive players for Texas was out last week, Michael Taffy, and he's listed as questionable. He broke his thumb and had surgery October 20th, and he's practiced this week. So I do think that's a big boost here for Texas. I took Texas on the cheapest money line I could find earlier this week at minus 130. I know it was a little bit cheaper when there was real uncertainty with Arch, but I do like Texas a little bit here in this spot. This is the first home game they've had in a month. Vanderbilt, you look at Vanderbilt, guys, back-to-back massive games at home, LSU and then Missouri. College game day was there, and now you go on the road here. You've got these expectations that you're going to knock off a team like Texas. So going against Diego Pavia as a underdog is a very not a very lucrative endeavor, but I did take Texas on the money line here. Look around and see what you can find, but I'm going to hook them here in this spot.
Just give us 20 seconds on each of these because I want to get to your picks. Tennessee, Oklahoma, and Georgia, Florida.
Georgia, Florida, I'll start real quickly. The Drink Responsibly Bowl, we're not calling it the cocktail party anymore.
Can't use that anymore.
It is the fired coach situation. What are we going to get from this Florida team with, Billy Napier being fired? So, I found this funny, guys, as I look back at the game of the year markets, and you've seen wild movements. Like Penn State was catching 3.5. Now they're catching 20.5, right? Kansas State was the favorite. Now they're a touchdown underdog. Believe it or not, Georgia in the preseason was a bigger favorite than they are right now. And Florida just fired their coach.
Yeah.
So Florida's got talent on their roster. If the hook shows up, I might be tempted to take Florida. I know there are some juicy hooks out there. I think FanDuel's a juicy hook. So lean a little bit here, Florida, in this spot. Tennessee, Oklahoma. I was texting with a buddy this week, guys. I'm like, what do we know about Tennessee? How good is this team as they are back at home, night game? And then the questions about Oklahoma. This offense has really struggled. I was surprised that they fell to Ole Miss last week, but I do think Oklahoma, the pressure that they can bring defensively on Joey Aguilar, can you get Aguilar, the quarterback of Tennessee, into some hot water, make him feel a little bit uncomfortable? So Oklahoma, Tennessee, as of now, and I know I'll be recording with Humans later today on the College Football Betting Podcast. Curious his thoughts on this, but I have not bet Oklahoma, Tennessee. That is a stay away for me because I could talk myself honestly into both sides in that particular game on Saturday night at Neyland Stadium.
All right, what are the Tim Murray plays of the week then?
Well, I mentioned one. I do like I do like Texas. Slip there. So that is one of the spots that I do like here this upcoming weekend. I'm warming up a little bit on South Carolina. I know they had a massive spot last week, guys, in that loss to Alabama. But this kind of feels like the typical Lane game where he could kind of mess around and ultimately keep things competitive. So South Carolina catching 12.5 is certainly on the radar for me. I'll go a little Mountain West action here. I like New Mexico catching, I think 4.5 is the number right now. That's seen a little bit of movement this week. I think UNLV offensively, guys, is really talented, but massive questions for them defensively. And I've been wildly impressed by what Jason Eck has done in his first year as the head coach in New Mexico. So I'll take the points with the Lobos in that spot. And then also on Friday night, be careful if you're Memphis. I always do this segment, guys, on primetime and on the tailgate show, the deli, where you look at a potential sandwich spot. Memphis gets an enormous win last week over South Florida, kind of gets themselves back in the driver's spot to get to the G5 berth to the college football playoff. Next Friday night, guys, they play Tulane. That game is enormous for playoff implications. This week, you got to go down to Sleepy Rice. You got to face this weird offense that's like the quasi-triple option. You're laying 2 touchdowns. So I'll just say to the Memphis Tigers, be careful. You're laying a big old number against a funky offense. So that thing could be weirdly competitive on Halloween. It could be, Gil, spooky down in Houston, huh?
Oh, there he goes.
See what he did?
That's why they pay him the big bucks right there. The Fighting Ed Fangs, by the way, of Rice.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he went to undergrad.